Hey guys, it's Dale from Lux BMX here, back again with another product video for you. Today we're going to be focusing on forks and all of the information that you'll need to know when you're selecting your new set. So today we're specifically going to be looking at the Odyssey R Series, which you may or may not have heard of before. Going to use these today purely because they have all of the features across the range that we'll actually be discussing, and it's a really simple way if we're just looking at one brand to go through this. They're also probably one of the most popular forks that we do sell. So there's a few key factors that you're going to need to know when you're looking at getting a new set of forks. So the first and most important thing when you're picking a set of forks is what size axle do you have? At the end of the day, if you don't get the right size forks for your front wheel, it's not going to fit, and then we're going to have some problems. There's two options when it comes to axle size. You're either going to have a 14 mil or a 3/8 or 10 mil axle. This means that that is the size fork you're going to be looking for. So the majority of freestyle bikes these days utilize a 3/8 front axle, which means you're going to want a 3/8 fork. Some of you old school guys out there may have a 14 mil front axle, which means we're going to have to look for a 14 mil fork. A little bit harder to find these days, but definitely still possible. What sort of riding are you looking at doing? Depending on this will change what our recommendations would be for you. So if you're a trail dog or a big bowl rider, then we'd be looking at getting your fork with a longer offset. What's offset, you ask? That's the distance between the center of your axle and the center line of the forks. This affects how fast and responsive your forks will be. So in this instance, if we go for say bowl or dirt, I'd be looking at going for a 32 mil offset. It's going to make a nice, relaxed feeling front end, not going to be super twitchy. So when you're bombing through that set of big doubles or you're ripping around that bowl corner, you're going to be feeling super stable and not have to stress about what's happening in the front end. Alternatively, if you're say a technical park rider or maybe someone that likes to go out and do a bit of street, you look at going for something like the R25s. These are a much more responsive and a much twitchier fork than the 32s. They're really at home with that technical park use, so with all your foot jams, nose presses, that sort of thing, they're really at home with that, and they offer you a lot of control while doing so. Again, if you're really into your street and you're looking for a super responsive fork, then we can go to something like the R15s, which is only a new release from Odyssey as of last year. These are a super short offset fork, perfect for nose manuals, toothpicks, anything where you want to be on the front end and you want to be able to lock into that sweet spot really easily. Another factor that can come into play when you're looking at forks is the length of the steerer. So depending on what you're looking at doing will change what you would do with your forks. So some people like myself don't necessarily run brakes, so I can cut my forks down and not have a problem. However, if you're someone that's say a park rider and you're looking at running a gyro setup, you definitely need to leave your fork steerer alone until you've got your front end set up, so you can be sure that whatever you're cutting off isn't going to affect that stack height. That's really important to making sure that everything works the way they should with your brakes. Good old rule of thumb, measure twice, cut once, definitely comes into play here. Another couple of things that you need to think about when we're looking at the steerers is going to be the top bolt. Majority of forks that you're going to buy these days, unless you picked up the set secondhand from someone, are going to come with your preload bolt included. Different forks will have different sizes, but a lot of them will use an M24 thread like these Odysseys. Another thing to look at is your crown race. So Odyssey is fantastic, and they actually build in an integrated bearing crown race into the forks. Some of your more old school forks or some of the cheaper options out there, you may still need to buy a removable crown race, which will be as simple as undoing your preload bolt, popping your crown race on, pushing it down nice and firm. Effectively, it's going to do the same job as Odyssey's built-in one here. Last factor that I would look into when I'm picking out a new set of forks, what kind of warranty are you getting with them? One of the reasons that these Odyssey forks are as popular as they are is the fact that they come with a lifetime warranty. It's one of the things that goes into making them probably the best fork on the market at the moment. If you have any questions about these or any other forks that we stock, feel free to shoot us an email at help@luxbmx.com or get us via the socials. Cheers.